Welcome to the Cohesive Home Podcast. Since Kate is on a little podcast hiatus with her new beautiful baby boy, I'm excited to bring you another interview with a family from our community. In 2016, Lorraine, Jason, and their daughter Penelope moved cross-country from California to North Carolina in search of fertile land and a new dream. From working in the fashion industry and computer drafting to becoming new homesteaders, the couple has embraced a life of gratitude, minimalism, and connection to the land. I hope you enjoy my chat with Lorraine and Jason from Sow the Land. Hi, Lorraine and Jason. I am so excited to chat with you both today. Kate and I are just really big fans of your YouTube channel, and we think your story is perfect for our listeners. So why don't the two of you just start off with maybe introducing yourselves and telling everyone that's listening a bit about your backstory?
Yeah, my name is Jason.
I'm Lorraine.
We started like a little homestead in North Carolina currently, and I think prior to that, we were living in Southern California, over just outside of Los Angeles. And probably like how we got to this point was, I think, like 7 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. And we started really looking into eating healthy, then we started like growing our own food, like in our little backyard that we had there. And then it kind of evolved from there. Like, wouldn't it be fun to start a little homestead and, get a little bit of land and do that. And then, fast forward that, and next thing you know, we're here. I mean, make a long story short, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big change. So can you guys kind of, let me say this. Lorraine, you were in the fashion industry, weren't you?
I was.
So what kind of, the evolution of you, I guess your husband getting cancer, and then was there anything else that was kind of a propeller for you to start in on this journey?
Definitely. Along with Jason being diagnosed with cancer, there was also, I became pregnant right after he was in remission. And after the whole year of taking care of Jason during his chemo, and then after that, becoming pregnant, I kind of just felt like this was a new season for me, where I would be taking on a whole new role as like a nurturer and someone who is just like taking care of our family. Not in a financial sense or like in not in a head of the household sense, but more of like a nurturer. And so I just started having these feelings of like, I think that I want to be home a little bit more, to just do things differently. I knew I wanted to breastfeed. I knew I wanted to cloth diaper, and little by little, we started feeling that we wanted to homeschool as Penelope started growing. And I just knew that I wouldn't be able to do all that while working in an industry that was just so demanding and stressful.
Yeah. Because I guess I should say staying home is a different kind of stress, but it's a good, it's something that when you realize that's what you're yearning for and you're craving for is to be home, I can see where all of a sudden everything else tends to be, I don't even know how to say that, a little more stressful.
Yeah, definitely. It is a different kind of a stress, but it's, I think what I like and what I was gravitating towards was the nurturing feeling. Was I wanted to take care of my family and make sure that we were eating healthy food, so that way we can flourish and we can be healthy. And I needed to prepare all 3 meals.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
That just took like a lot of my time. And I just had this feeling like I can't do that while working.
Plus the commute. I mean, you're commuting.
I was commuting almost 2 hours a day.
2 hours a day.
Oh,
so
that really? Oh man. I'm so sorry.
California traffic.
Oh gosh. Okay. So you obviously cancer's in remission.
Yep.
You're having, Lorraine, you're really having this, heart change of yearning to be home. And through all of that, are you embracing minimalism during this season, or was embracing that aspect of your journey, was that after you moved, before you moved? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
I think it was just after I was in remission, then we had bought a house, and
it was a 3-bedroom home plus an office, and it was pretty big for us.
Yeah.
So we started to fill it with things.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it was like a slow process, like you start off like, I don't think we need this. And then we kept on like, kind of like, the more you talk about it, the more you start doing it, it's like a snowball effect. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, we just started saying stuff like, why do we have all this stuff? Like because we were like huge collectors. Like we would collect a lot of things, have a lot of hobbies, and I was like, why do we have all these, clothes? I mean, she was in the fashion industry, so she would, have a lot of clothes, and
we collected a lot of antiques too.
Like
our favorite thing was to go antique store shopping, and if we liked it, we bought it. And so I think the more and more we started talking about, hey, wouldn't it be nice to live, have our own homestead and just live off the land? We started realizing, well, if we were to do that, would we take all of this junk with us? And do we even need this? So it was just questions, like conversations like that we would have with each other.
Yeah. And I think it slowly evolved from there. It just kept on, we kept on getting rid of stuff, little by little as the years moved on.
So can you both pinpoint sort of a moment when you both, kind of looked at each other and said, okay, to obtain this lifestyle that we're really wanting, we've got to make a move? Like was there a moment, or was that sort of a slow process?
I think it was more of a slow process. It was kind of like, I don't think there was a specific moment. It was more of like we kind of joked about it at first and say, oh, it'd be cool to have like some land and a little bit of land and, and have a little homestead. And then we kind of like joked like, oh, that would be funny. And then I think the more we talked about it, it just kept on getting like, we talked about it more and more and more. And like, almost like it was like it was speeding up the process as the more we talked about it.
We started taking action as well on little things here and there. Like, well, we don't need all this junk, because if one day we're going to become homesteaders and we're going to move across the country or move anywhere, we don't need all of this, and then it was just like little steps here and there. Well, why don't we just see what, how much property costs over here in this state or that state? And then we looked, and then we thought, well, why don't we just put our house up on the market? But it wasn't like we woke up one morning and said, that's it. We're moving, we're selling all of our belongings, and we're moving across the country. I think a lot of people, they think that that's what happens, but it's not. I mean, it's a progress that happens. Yeah. It's a change that comes over you. Yeah.
So you started looking at land in different states. I mean, and you're all the way in California. Obviously, I would assume the cost of land had something to do with you choosing. You're in North Carolina, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So you chose North Carolina. We went to the opposite side of our country.
I know.
We actually do have some listeners in Australia. So I'm assuming, and other countries too, but I know everyone's probably very familiar with U.S. geography, but it is on the other side of our country completely.
Oh, I know. It had to be the furthest out that we could possibly,
Yeah. So, was that a methodical choice, or is it like, oh, there's land, it's cheap, it's plentiful in that area? Because I know it is a lot easier to grow things in that region. Is that one of the reasons you chose that area, or why?
Yeah, I mean, really, to be honest, it was the cost, to obtain like some land. We looked at parts of California, and like we also looked at Arizona, New Mexico, just a few places that were drivable, for the weekend or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I think that it was the cost of land that was
enticing.
Yeah.
We also had some friends here in North Carolina that were originally from Los Angeles. And they said, why don't you come out here and visit us? So when we came out to stay for vacation, it was just vacation. We didn't look at any properties for sale or anything. They showed us around. They introduced us to the community out here. And I feel like that was another selling point for us.
Yeah.
Was the community. There was so many people that we met that were also doing the same thing that we wanted to do. They were maybe living in a tiny home, or they're living in a yurt, or they're living in a bus. And they were like, this is how we're doing it. And we fell in love with that. And we were like, I think we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like you said, some people are living in yurts, or they're full-time, RVing across the U.S. What drew you guys to homesteading specifically?
I think it was just it seemed like an adventure, and like the idea of like growing our own food and having a little bit of land and just growing what we eat, and kind of also just the starting over, like a completely different lifestyle seemed like kind of refreshing, in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I just want sheep, even though I'm not going to probably won't be homesteading anytime soon, but I wish I could have like some sheep in my backyard. I really want that.
That is cool.
What do you guys have? You have chickens. I know I've seen them on your YouTube channel, but anything else?
That's all right now. We just have chickens, we're trying not to get, too crazy and going all out
with the larger animals, because it can be expensive.
Yeah.
If there was something went wrong, there would be a vet bill, and I don't think we're ready for that yet. But we do have 6 egg layers, and then right now we are raising 30 pastured poultry for meat birds.
Oh, that's a lot of work, even just that. I would assume.
Yeah, it is. It keeps us busy.
Well, so Lorraine, you ended up homeschooling your daughter, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So what does a typical day of homesteading and homeschooling look for you? Because I know that we do have a lot of homeschool moms or parents listening out there. So how does that look for you? What does a typical day look like?
Well, Penelope's only 5 years old, so we haven't been homeschooling for that long. But we follow the Charlotte Mason method for our homeschooling. And Charlotte Mason, her philosophy is basically 3 educational instruments: the atmosphere of environment, the discipline of habit, and the presentation of living ideas. And so I feel like bringing her to this homestead, we're able to create this atmosphere for her, this educational atmosphere where she can just be outside, immersed in nature. Homesteading, there's a lot of chores involved. She can learn discipline by watching us and seeing how hard we work, and also giving her chores as well. And I feel like this atmosphere in homesteading is so educational for Penelope. So like I said, she's 5. We're not hitting the books, and I'm not drilling her with tests and quizzes and forcing her to write out mathematical problems or anything like that. We're doing poetry and tea time. We're also outside moving chickens across our property. I mean, we're doing a lot of things. She's 5, but she's really enjoying it. We read a lot of living books, and it's fun to see her see what we read or hear what we read in a story and make that connection on our homestead. And like see, okay, well, we're reading about a little girl who lived in the 1800s in New Mexico, and she's shearing sheep and turning the wool into yarn, and she's weaving. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't we take up weaving?
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah, she's really enjoying it.
Okay, so Jason, while she's busy tending to the home, you are tending to chickens. I see a lot of on video, and then also you're running and you're woodworking. So do you mind telling us a bit about that?
Yes. Prior to moving here, I did a lot of we had our own website already, and I was just kind of doing like small home goods stuff. And so that's just another thing that, we can do here that, to bring in some kind of income. So, right away when we came, I kept we didn't sell all of our stuff. So I kept, like my woodworking tools and stuff. And, I converted a small shed into a wood shop. And so, we have a small home goods section on our website, and basically just selling just small woodworking items such as cutting boards, hand carved spoons, some wall hangings. And it's just another thing for us to make some kind of money. And, I also sell locally in town also.
Oh, cool. Actually, so that brings up a good question. So you quit your job, Lorraine, and I'm assuming you quit your job too, Jason, to move out to North Carolina.
Yes.
Are you sustaining, did you get a new job, or how did that work? I mean, was there a job that you knew you would have out in North Carolina, or is it the woodworking, and how are you doing that?
Well, I left and, we didn't have a job waiting for us here. So I just left and thought we'd just move here and we'd figure it out. So
we're living on the edge.
Yeah.
We're so adventurous.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to dive right in.
Yeah. So it was no, income at all when we moved. And, so it's kind of like you're in this, I'm not going to say panic mode, but so I knew the woodworking was going to be one of the things that we did. And my background before we left, I was a computer drafter. I just worked in an office. So I've been doing that freelance on the side from home. And I also do the bus conversion business.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was just a couple friends that we met here. One of the guys lives actually in a school bus, and that's what he knows how to do, convert buses. And then he just came up to us and said, "Hey, you want to actually start a business?" And so that's just one of the things we also do. And we just did a brand new Ford Transit. We converted it to a little adventure mobile.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Can people see more about that on your website or on your blog?
On our YouTube channel, I've done a lot of video on that, on us converting stuff.
Oh, cool. Okay, great. I'll definitely put a link to that in our show notes.
Yeah, or you can look at we have a website on that too. I mean, it's called BlueRidgeConversions.com.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll put a link to that. That is really neat. So when you said there was a community that you just really loved, that sounds like a pretty cool community that are converting buses.
Yeah, it's just amazing how that kind of worked out. That wasn't the plan at all to do that, but it just we're all kind of like-minded over here, I think.
Yeah.
And that was just one of the ways we're able to make an income. So, I mean, to make a lot, to tie all that in together, I mean, it's really just kind of doing what we can to make it work out here.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything.
So, well, and as a couple, do you feel like setting aside those other jobs and moving across the country, has this strengthened your relationship? Has this caused you guys to become a stronger unit?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're not strong, something like this could just easily like tear you apart. I feel like we've become stronger together. We were already strong through the trials that we've had before in the past, with Jason's cancer and all of that. But I feel like this journey we're taking together. He can't do what he needs to do without me. I can't do what I need to do without him. And so we're a team, and every little struggle that we come across, we work it out together. And, and he has strengths that I don't have, and I have strengths that he doesn't have. And so it's interesting to work together.
Yeah. I mean, well, plus, we moved out here, we really didn't know hardly anybody. We didn't have no family. So it's like, all we have is each other, so that's like keeping us, I think, makes it more stronger too.
Yeah. What encouragement would you give to anyone listening who just absolutely wants to just completely change their life direction, but might be scared? I know that Kate and I, we get emails from listeners all the time asking for just, how do you guys make the choices that you make? And I know it's kind of hard to answer, but do you have any encouragement for those listening that might be on the cusp of wanting to make that, like, some sort of change in their life like you guys did?
I would say, I mean, before we left, I had my grandpa. He was in like a senior assistance home, and he wasn't doing good. And I would go visit him, and I would, in my mind, I kind of like thought like, I don't want to regret anything. Like I don't want to end up in a senior home and just thinking to myself like, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. And I don't know, just being in there just kind of made me think of regret. And I think that was kind of an encouragement to us, is that I don't want to regret. I don't want to think to myself down the line, I wish we would have started homesteading. I wish we would have moved, because who knows where we would have been. I at least want to like give it a try, and if it doesn't work, well, then I could say, well, at least we tried, we gave it all we got.
Yeah.
And I think regret is a huge thing for us. I think that's encouragement. And I think also what helped us was just hearing other people's stories on doing something like this. Like as far as like through podcasts or blogs and websites, you hear a lot of people doing things like this. And as you hear their story, you think like they're just ordinary people. They're not like somebody extraordinary with extraordinary powers, that are doing things like this, like I think like if they could do it, we could do it, and it just made me think that, they're no different than us.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. It's just making that choice and going forward with it.
Right. That's the hard part is in a way, it's kind of, you have to believe that you can do it.
Yeah.
Believing in yourself, I guess.
Yeah. How about you, Lorraine? Do you have anything to say about that one?
I agree with Jason. Like, the time is now. I mean, you don't want to be, end up in a senior assistant living home and feeling with regret. So I agree with him that the time is now. If you want to make a choice, if you want to follow a dream, just do it. I mean, there was no harm done. I mean, what's the worst thing that could, we often asked ourselves, what's the worst thing that could happen to us? We move back to California and live with your mom for a little while, or live with family for a little while. But, there's no harm done. I mean, we haven't harmed anything. We haven't done anything wrong. This is our life. We're choosing the path to take and we're following it. And, the time is now.
I just absolutely could not agree more. My husband and I and our 3 kids, that's exactly what we did. We moved back to Oklahoma and moved back in with my in-laws for a little bit. So I'm like, we're fine. We survived, so we're good.
And it's just all an adventure. I'm sure like your kids will have stories to tell of how they moved and then they moved back. And, it's all about the adventure.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Although now I ask my kids, I'm like, do you guys remember this? And they just look at me with these like deer in headlights, like, what? What are you talking about? I'm like, oh, we have to move back there now. You must remember.
Don't forget.
I know. We did all of that and you don't remember any of it? It's like, no. Well, do what? Sorry.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. My oldest does. She remembers quite a bit from Germany. But so what are the plans for you guys next? I know that on your YouTube channel you had a post that said we've been here a year and you've survived a year. So what are the next steps for you guys?
I think just to continue to try to be out here and try to live out here. And I mean, we're just trying to do it and just continue to live.
I know a goal for me that I've set for myself for this year is to try and grow. This is a big goal too. I don't know if I should be saying this. Grow enough food so that way we can have enough for the summer and put away for the winter. I don't know if we can do that, but that's one of my goals. I'd love to get there because I do a lot of canning and well, I don't do a lot of canning, but I do can. And I would like to put away some food for the winter time. And, I watch another YouTube channel and that's exactly what she does. And I'm like, I'm so inspired. I just would love to do that. We did the pastured chickens last year. And so we were able to put 26 birds in our freezer. So that was wonderful. But, if we could do that with vegetables, that would just be amazing.
That sounds like a very awesome year to have put that many chickens into a freezer on your first year out there.
Yeah, that was like right away too. Like the first like few months, and next thing you know, we got like 26 chickens and we're processing them.
Wow.
I mean, we're not used to stuff like this too. Like, we're from the city. We're not, we never raised chickens or even like slaughtered chickens or processed them.
And Penelope helped with that too. So that was I feel like it was such a great learning experience for her to help with that.
Yeah. See where your food comes from,
Right.
that's homeschooling at its finest right there. Cool. Well, so for our listeners, how can they connect with you guys through all your various projects?
They could go to our website at sowtheland.com.
And it's SEW.
Awesome. SEW, theland.com. Okay.
Yeah. You can find our, we have Instagram and our link to our YouTube channel on there as well.
Great. And I will put all of these in the show notes. So, well, thank you both so much. I would encourage anyone that's listening, if you have any questions for them, please connect with them through their website, or you guys have Instagram?
Yes.
Or through Instagram, because I know that you guys would love to connect more with our community. So
sure.
Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having us. It was fun.
Thank you so much, Lorraine and Jason, for joining me today and sharing more of your story. And for all of you listening, if you're enjoying our podcast, please leave us a review on iTunes or send us an email at hello@cohesivehome.com. We love hearing from you. Thanks for listening today, and I'll see you next time.